If someone was to create a list of the top 5 most controversial public figures in 2023, I can guarantee you this man would be on it. Elon Musk is someone that people generally either love or hate, and previous to reading this book about him, I was kind of ambivalent. After having finished it, I can now say that I respect the man more, but I admire him less than I did going into it. So let's talk about it. Overall, my biggest impression of this book was that although it was completely fascinating, it's not one that I would consider inspiring, and so it's not one that I would really recommend to a lot of other people. It's going to be one that I'm more kind of on the fence of like, well, if you're interested in it and you want to learn more about Elon, definitely read it. It's super fascinating, but there's not a whole ton that you can mine out of here to actually apply to your own life, because what made him him is either so unique to him that you can't replicate it, or it's stuff that you really probably don't want to replicate anyways, because even though it worked for him to become who he is, when you look at his life as a whole and how complicated life is and what he has to deal with on a daily basis, it's not really a life that most people would look at and be like, oh yeah, that's what I want, right? With that said though, there were 3 things that I took away from it that I really wanted to talk about. And the first is this idea of hard work. Elon brings maniacal intensity to everything that he does. For me, as someone, who grew up as a farm boy and just has a very big work ethic anyways, I love that. I love seeing evidence of the harder you work, the more stuff gets done. And yes, there's a place for working smarter, and he talks about that, but the foundation of everything has to be working hard and an ability to just put in the work and to suffer through the effort that it takes to actually get things done. But then on top of that, you have what Elon refers to as the algorithm, which is his 5-step guideline for how to do everything, which is question every requirement, delete any part or process that you can, simplify and optimize, accelerate cycle times, and then automate. The biggest thing that stuck out for me from this is that there's no use automating or optimizing or improving something that shouldn't be done in the first place. I get caught in this trap of trying to make something that I'm doing better or faster or more efficient, instead of stepping back and being like, should I actually be doing this in the first place? And if I shouldn't be doing it, then making it more efficient and making it better and getting better at it is not a net gain. It's still a net loss, because that's not something I should be spending my time on. So that was huge for me. Working super hard is the first one, and then bringing in the algorithm to automate. But before you do the automation, cleaning house and getting rid of everything that's unnecessary, and then optimizing what's left, because that's the actual important stuff. And then the third thing that I love that he said was, whenever he's hiring someone, he's always looking for attitude, because skills can be taught, but the phrase in the book was that attitude changes require a brain transplant. And I've seen that so many times in my life where I'm just like I can teach anybody how to do this thing, but I can't teach anybody how to have work ethic. It's just not something that I can teach in a day. It takes a lifetime to develop that. And so I would always rather have someone on my team who has a good work ethic and a good attitude, and then teach them the skills later on. It was cool to feel like, oh, I think I'm on the right track with that attitude and that mindset. Overall, again, this book was fascinating. There was so much stuff that I learned in here, like how Elon views AI. I really didn't realize how against the Larry Page view of AI he is. And then how the Starlink satellites are at a lower orbit than normal satellites, and that's why the latency is not as bad as normal satellite internet. Totally didn't know that. Super interesting to me on all the techie side of stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in Elon, if you're just interested in tech in general, then this is definitely a book worth picking up. But if you're looking for a biography of a very successful man who you can use to inspire your own life, this is just not one that I'm going to put on the list. A book that I would recommend in that category, though, is the Edmund Morris Theodore Roosevelt trilogy. This is the same type of idea of a book about a incredibly great man who did these great things, but who also was a good man, and whose life was formed more by decisions that he made and not stuff that happened to him. And so there's much more to pull out of this trilogy as far as things that I can do and implement in my own life than there is in Elon's story. That's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if you've read this book, if you plan on reading it, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.